Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Jim here, and I'm just enjoying my daily meditation. I was thinking about the transactional model of communication. I thought I might as well talk to you about it. Seems like an appropriate time and such a beautiful setting. The transactional model of communication came about a long time ago, and it basically explains how we communicate as human beings. You have a sender, you have a receiver, and you can do both of these things at the same time, send and receive messages. You ever notice how you can play video games and talk to your mom at the same time? Hey, Mom, I'm doing fine. Bring me some meatloaf. You know, and still be able to ace that level. Anyway, it's not just senders and receivers, but as you notice from the graphic above, there's also a channel, and a channel is the means by which we communicate. Examples of channels may be what I'm talking into right now. A cell phone, that's a channel. A fax machine, that's a channel. Do you use a fax machine? Maybe that truck up there does. I don't know. Anyway, so the means by which we communicate is a channel. We also have noise, and noise by definition would be anything that gets in the way of the message from being understood. And we got a couple of different types of noise. External and internal. External noise is going to be outside. So for example, that truck that just drove by or backing up that we just heard a moment ago. Internal noise are going to be thoughts, feelings, anything that really disrupts you from understanding what someone else is saying. Perhaps you had a fight with a significant other. Perhaps you just can't get past that next level in Call of Duty. And it's distracting you. You know, makes it difficult to understand somebody sometimes. So that would be noise. Now, if you can picture from the graphic above a box around the entire communication process, and look at that as being context. And I think that this is really important. Context comes in a few different parts. The first of which is a physical context, and it affects the entire communication process. And that's why it would be a box around the whole thing. The physical context is where it's taking place. So if I'm in a classroom, I'm going to be speaking a little bit louder. I'm outside, so when a car drives by, I may speak louder. It's the physical environment that affects the communication. A second context would be social, and that's the relationships that we have with others. So the way that I would speak to my grandmother would obviously be very different than how I would speak to my daughter or to a student in a class, for example. So that's social. Historical. Now, unlike old video games, I find I keep using video game examples. Unlike old video games where you died in the middle of a level, you had to start all the way back at the beginning. I don't know if you would know this, but older games you had to do that. You had to start all the way at the beginning. But until codes came out, and then now it's just automatically remembers that stuff. Well, that's basically the idea here in a communication process, the historical context. I don't have to start all over a conversation with somebody that I've had a relationship with for some time. We can start in the middle of one that we left off from before. So there's a historical context that exists. Then there's a psychological context. That's going to be moods and feelings. You ever felt the need to just be left alone? I think we all do sometimes. Then we're not wanting to communicate. Conversely, there's probably times when we need to be in the company of others. So that's going to be a psychological context. And then finally is cultural. A cultural context exists because everything is based in culture.